Welcome to the People Sports Podcast. I am Mark Titus. She is Charlotte Wilder.
She sure
March
is.
is here. She sure is. She still is. He said with the tinge of disappointment.
God damn it, she's still Charlotte Wilder.
Damn it! I was hoping.
Every week I sign on thinking maybe it'll be Ric Flair.
It's Goodwill Hunting scene. Every day I come to this door expecting you to not be here, and I'll be damned. Every day Charlotte is here.
God damn it, every season she's still there. Man.
March is here, Charlotte. It's March.
This is
Your
March.
thoughts. Your thoughts.
As they say. My thoughts, I generally, I'm kind of...
I'm just laughing at myself. Like that's a little journalism trick for anyone listening. If you just basically want to make an observation, but you feel obligated to like incorporate someone else in the conversation, just state something and then say your thoughts. And that's
okay, Mark, tell me how you feel about March, you jackass. How do you feel about March? Tell me. Honestly. I'm more interested in your thoughts on March, because my thoughts on March are basically like the weather still sucks, but it gets more hopeful, and my birthday's in the month, so it makes it kind of fun.
You're a good person to bounce this off of. So my fear is that so everybody loves March Madness, obviously. And God, I hope that's a true statement, because that's my
your job.
Of view. Yeah. Like that's if you were to tell me
that's
that,
your
like,
entire job.
If you pull me aside and you're like, Mark, as it turns out, like, kind of nobody cares about March Madness, I'd be like, what? My entire worldview would crumble. So it's a phenomenon.
People care.
It's a phenomenon in this country, Charlotte. And my fear, like, obviously I want people to love college basketball. Part of what I think people love about March Madness is that it coincides with daylight savings time. So the days get they get longer, but like also most people that I found enjoy the sun setting later in the day versus the sun rising earlier in the morning. So like when the spring,
unless you're a farmer,
hits, unless you're a farmer,
no one talks about them. Everyone's like, nobody farms anymore. We don't need daylight savings, and it's like, has anyone asked the farmers about that?
My brother-in-law's a farmer. Well, he was a farmer, and then he quit because he's soft. But anyway, so what I was gonna say is I think March Madness coincides with just like a lot of good vibes in the calendar anyway. That, like, the weather's starting to turn better. The days are getting longer. They feel like they're longer. You know, there's hope on that. Like February is such a miserable month for so many people for a lot of reasons. Like the holidays are over. The Valentine's Day happens, and if you don't have any Valentines, you're like, damn it, I'm alone. The weather sucks. Like, there's a lot of reasons. So then March happens and people start getting excited, and then March Madness comes, and I think has something to do with. So, is that? Am I onto something with this?
Yes, you were 100% onto something. March Madness is like, I love it because it's a hopeful time in sports. Yeah. It's also absolutely chaotic. So you feel alive in March, which is when you start to feel most dead, because at least on the East Coast, because of the weather, you know, you're like, I don't know if we're going to make it to, you know, everyone's like the May flowers, you got to get through the April showers. It's like, no one talks about getting through March. Yeah, and that's why I'm really glad my birthday is then, because at least that's one time that you know, people are going to text me.
Yeah. By the way,
I'm like, thank you for
Charlotte's birthday's in March. Take that.
That's why I like my birthday in March.
That's why I like that my birthday is coming up in a few weeks. By the way. Just
it's. I mean, in your 30s, who gives a shit though, right? Like I'm turning 32. That's like who. That's a really inconsequential one.
Yeah.
You know who else is? You know whose birthday? This dovetails into something we're going to actually talk about today. Believe it or not, JJ Watt's birthday is 3 days before mine.
Like, are you guys the same age too?
Yes.
The same year and
he was born exactly 3 days before I was.
Wow.
And the fact that he's still playing football and I went for a run today and had to stop after a mile is really tells you something.
I'm pretty sure Lionel Messi is like 1 day older than me. I have to look this up. Or is he like 1 full year? Because I remember his birthday is a day before mine, but I can't remember if it's the same year. I'm gonna look it up.
Well, it's just tough when you get to that age. One day?
Yeah, Lionel Messi is literally 1 day older than me.
If you asked me how much older than he was, I would say he's 10 years older than you are.
Yeah, because he's like done stuff.
He's seen some shit.
I'm still like,
he's done stuff. Okay,
I'm like waiting to grow up.
No, I mean, I think
Mark, you've never once won a Champions League. You've never once won La Liga, not one time.
Did you see someone tweeted at us that they want us to explain soccer?
Yeah, I could explain.
And
soccer.
I was like, but that's not fun because Mark.
Did you know there's icing in soccer?
You got me for a second. I was like,
yeah, March. It's fun times in the Titus household, obviously for college basketball. But yeah, I think we hit the nail on the head. I think here's the take. Here's a quotable for you. Punxsutawney Phil, Punxsutawney. How do you say it?
Punxsutawney Phil is his pop punk band.
He's punk. That's a great name for a band.
Punxsutawney.
He's not the real guy who decides when we should be hopeful or not for summer. It's Sister Jean. When you see Sister Jean's face, you know that there's hope. Hope springs eternal when Sister Jean's on your television talking about Loyola, making a march, and you're like, well, I'll be damned. If that 101-year-old nun, can cheer these boys that these plucky little boys from Chicago onto the Final Four, then damn it, maybe summer will be here sooner than I think.
I associate you and Tate with Sister Jean.
Yeah, it's Tate will love that.
Yeah, don't tell him; it'll go right to his head. Please, forget I said it. Cut that out.
We're going to talk about college basketball next week. Spoiler alert! I'm gonna do a big primer for those listeners that don't listen to me on my Titus and Tate show, which listen. Probably for the best. probably
no,
for the
we're
best.
Just gonna help the people out because you gotta know how to fill out your bracket. You gotta know what the heck is going on, especially this year. I feel like people really are a little more clueless.
That is the one downside to my life in March is that I complain about it, but I also have perspective. Like, listen, I'm not mining coal, so like I'm not gonna pretend like this is like the hardest thing in the world. But suddenly this time of year, all my friends and family want to talk to me. They have one thing on their mind, and it's give me your picks. That's it. Shut the and then even when I start like explaining it to them, I'm like, okay, so here's the thing. I feel like Baylor's good, but Baylor, they came back from the COVID pause, and they're like, yeah, shut the hell up. Nobody cares. Give me the picks. Who's
want your picks. They don't even want to.
They don't want any nuance. They don't want any. Yeah, they don't want.
I just had a thought.
Anything. Yeah.
And we can do this next week, but I think we should fill out brackets completely opposite. I think I should choose like
we
whatever
literally
team you say is going to win. I pick the other one.
Oh, I love that idea. Actually, that could be fun. Yeah, that could be fun. I like that.
And then when my bracket wins.
Yeah. But that's what my life becomes, is like everyone's like, all right, so there's never been a perfect bracket in the history of mankind. But Mark, I expect you to help me fill out the perfect bracket, the first perfect bracket ever. Okay.
But so when I'm out in the first round, I'm going to be mad at you personally because it's your fault.
And then when you get one game wrong, like the tournament is literally called March Madness because it's so unpredictable and insane. And when you get one game wrong, I'm going to say that you suck at your job and you have no idea. And how do you get paid for this? And
oh,
it's
God.
fun.
It's like a more intimate version of the internet.
Yeah. All right, so we'll do that next week. We got to figure out what we want to talk about this week. Some process of elimination again. Icing. Let's put that to bed once and for all. Can we not talk about icing?
I want the people to know that we've done our penance. We've sat in the penalty box and learned what icing is. We can both describe it. We both admit that we were wrong. Let's move on.
Yep. Be done with that. Shaylene, Woodley, and Aaron Rodgers. Also,
I'm not going to talk about them.
You keep kicking the tires. You keep trying to get me to talk about
Until I see that they are following each other on Instagram, I won't bring it up again.
Until they're Instagram official, it doesn't count.
Not even Instagram official. They don't even follow each other. I'm not going to talk about it, but they don't even follow each other.
They're engaged. That's the way to do it, by the way. I believe in that. I believe in just... Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
No. Don't follow.
Keep it as.
I believe living in different houses. Take it like live in different house. Like don't even talk to each other. Like my dream is to be married to a woman I haven't talked to, and I never talked to.
That's moving on. What else?
I don't want to talk about this guy, this disc golfer who signed a $10 million contract because that just bums me out, makes me jealous, and very.
I didn't even see that, and I'm upset that you just told me about that.
Yeah, there's a disc golfer. He signed some $10 million 10-year deal.
With a sports league, or was he endorsed?
Yeah, with like the disc golf. with to bang chains as they say in the disc golf world. So when I lived in Ohio, I one of my apartments I had, like, this is years ago. I lived by a disc golf course, and one time
doesn't surprise me.
Like, not on purpose. I just, like, was driving one time. I was like, what the hell are those things just in the field? And then I realized that it's I purposely rented the apartment.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
I had no idea what it even was.
Rented an apartment to live next to a disc golf place would say.
I had no idea what it was, and so I looked into it, and I was like, "Oh, that's because me and my brother played disc golf growing up with, like, regular frisbees, and we would just, like, name objects. We're like, that tree over there, let's hit it with the, we kind of like
or you put like beers on ski poles and try to hit them up.
So I thought, what the hell? I'm gonna buy a frisbee and go play. So I buy a normal frisbee, and one day I go, like, try out disc golf, and I had no idea that you have to buy, like, actual. They're not. It's not called frisbee golf because frisbee and discs are completely different. Were you aware of this? That, like, disc golf has, like, its own sort of aerodynamic, like, really small.
Get out of here! Are you kidding me?
Yeah, they have drivers and putters and shit. Yeah,
I'm realizing as you're talking about disc golf, I'm realizing I have absolutely no idea what it is.
Oh, well, never mind. Audible. We're not doing college basketball next week. We're doing disc golf. Did you know there's icing in disc golf?
Okay, all right. Yeah, relax.
Also, I don't want to talk about this headline that I saw. After players threaten a boycott, Qatar beach volleyball tournament decides to lift restrictions on bikinis during its March competition.
No, I don't want to talk about that at all. I'm not even commenting on that. I'm not falling into that feminist trap. So, no.
What do we want to talk about, Charlotte?
I have two things that I think we should talk about, and one of them I already mentioned, JJ Watt, because there's some stuff going on with JJ. But the reason we're gonna get into JJ by way of the Ball family, and you might be thinking, well, that sucks because I would love to never hear about LeVar Ball again. And what I have to say to you is that's just too bad.
That's too bad. If you're one of those people, we have very bad news for you because LaMelo Ball's not going away anytime soon. Yeah.
Keep listening, though, because we're going to take it to a weird place, per usual. And I'm going to take it to an especially weird place, because I have something planned for Mark that he doesn't know that is really just remarkable. At least I found it remarkable. Everyone else will probably be like, oh, God, this is one of Charlotte's, like, weird wedding hashtag things. But LaMelo is probably going to be Rookie of the Year. He is lighting it up in Charlotte, and as a Charlotte fan, as you can see, oops, I'm pointing in the wrong direction. There it is. I don't know if you can see the jersey. It has my name on it. I take close personal satisfaction in this.
He's wearing my name on the front of his chest every night when he goes out there. And
I personally drafted him, so. But yeah, I don't know. I feel. What are your sort of basic LaMelo thoughts?
LaMelo Ball, yeah, he's going to win Rookie of the Year. This is noteworthy because for the longest time, he was just Lonzo Ball's brother. He was the guy that we knew in basketball circles. I say this as a guy who's, I'm very into basketball, and I cover this stuff for a living. And still, even I just thought of LaMelo Ball up until this past NBA draft when it became clear that he's like a serious he's actually very good, and he's going to get drafted very high. Up until then, even he was still just the snot-nosed brother of Lonzo, who the last time I ever saw LaMelo Ball play basketball before he played for the Hornets was when he was 15 years old, and he's bringing the ball up and he's pointing at the ground at half court and then pulling up from half court and airballing it as the gym laughs at him. Did you see these clips? Do you remember when this happened?
Yeah, I do. And I remember he's the one, he was in Lithuania, right?
Yeah,
and
he went
Australia. They kept just sort of shipping him all over the world. And so he
played in Ohio for a year. Yep.
He did? I forgot about that.
And he played for his dad's league that his dad created, the Junior Basketball Association, where every team was named the Ballers. It was the Los Angeles Ballers versus the Seattle Ballers versus the Philadelphia Ballers versus this is the path he went on, and then suddenly he pops up in the draft, and it was interesting because like every time the NBA draft comes around, I kind of have to put my draft analyst cap on because I watch most of the guys obviously in college, but every so often a guy like LaMelo Ball comes along, or Luka Doncic, who didn't play college basketball, and I get asked about him, and I'm very honest and open about it. I'm like, I'm not watching Australian basketball. I'm not following him in Lithuania. I have no idea how good this guy is.
The only thing I know about Australia is that a dingo once ate a baby there, and as far as I'm concerned, that's where my interest stops.
So it was fascinating for me to hear people who are actually plugged in and actually followed LaMelo Ball through through Lithuania and the Big Baller brand, whatever the hell that league was called, and to Australia to talk about how good he was going to be. And some people thought he was, he had a lot of natural talent, but there were reports coming out during the draft process that he wasn't interviewing well, and I was like, what is that? What does that even mean? Was he?
I can't stand. Was he
just saying statements and then saying your thoughts? Was that what he was doing? Is that what he mean by interviewing?
Was he saying, here's how I feel about March, but I'm going to ask you first? Is that what he was doing?
Yeah. Is that what you mean by interview?
So you were just like, whatever, this kid could go either way. Like what
yeah, a little bit. I mean, like nothing would surprise me. Like, but it's been awesome watching it. Like I'm not anti, like, how the internet works and being a talking head about sports is like, you're going to have to stake your claim. Are you pro or anti this guy? And I was very firmly like, I don't know.
Right. Which is wild. That's a brave. Yeah. I'm just like brave of you.
I just want to see what happens. And what's happened so far is he's amazing. He's electric. Tate is actually a Charlotte fan, not a poser like you who just gets excited about the name Charlotte on the jersey.
God, hit me where it hurts. Jesus.
Tate, I swear to God.
I gotta see. Anyway, Tate likes him.
Tate is from Carolina, and Tate, I've never seen this man get so excited about the NBA and so excited about an NBA player.
Really?
LaMelo Ball has it. He called him Magic Johnson the other night. Sure.
Oh, Jesus. Oh,
he goes, God. We have Magic Johnson on our team now, and I was like, all right, you got to calm down, because LaMelo, we were watching the this was Monday night. We were watching the Blazers game together, and LaMelo's playing Carmelo,
which
Melo versus Melo.
Yeah,
LaMelo has 30, Carmelo has 29, but the Blazers win, so the debate rages on. Who's the real Melo? It's Carmelo.
This is the new
Carmelo.
Best GOAT debate.
Yeah,
who's the best Melo? Obviously it's Hoodie Melo until he's usurped. But
yeah. So I guess my final, just to wrap up my monologue, I guess, is that it's been fun to watch a guy who had a ton of question marks about him. It took one of the most ridiculous paths to the NBA I can ever remember seeing, and whose reputation was just like, you are the brother of this other guy. And now he's carved out his own thing. He's better than his brother.
Yeah, I looked up Lonzo.
It's crazy.
In researching all this, because I was like, I really just don't know what he's up to. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
And I just think it's kind of great that the kid who, like, whenever I heard about LaMelo, it would be like, well, they shipped him off to a different foreign country, or here's an air ball. And I think it's like the greatest revenge story of all time for him to be like, oh no, I'm actually really good. And have people done the Patrick Mahomes comparisons where he does those no-look passes?
He's got the hair too. He's got the sides are kind of buzzed, but the hair's fluffy on top.
And he's doing
I don't
these,
think that's
like,
the actual term, but
yeah, well, I don't know what I'm talking about ever, but he's doing these insane things where he looks at the basket and then passes it over his head, and then the guy, I mean, just
that's what makes him so fun, is that he's not only, I mean, since he's been thrust into the starting lineup, he's averaging like 21 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds. But it's not just the numbers; it's like how he's going about it. That's so fun. He just seems so infectious, so fun. Nothing phases him. And I honestly, maybe this is too much, armchair psychologist, whatever. But like, how much of it is his path? Is the fact that he was growing up in the shadow of his dad and his brother, and like he's been around the quote unquote circus basically his entire life. That now he's like, yeah, do I feel pressure playing at Portland in a regular season game? No, dude. Like, no, I don't. No.
And he didn't have to be the oldest one. He didn't have to be the one that, like the dad pinned all of the hopes on from the get-go. He didn't have to be the guinea pig for, LeVar's hopes and dreams. And so he was able to just be like, okay, I'm going to fly under the radar for a little bit here.
I feel like, again, this is not something that I guess we probably should be doing, the armchair psychology, but I wonder how much of that is Lonzo's not problem. Lonzo's still good. Like, I think that this happens also in the NBA. Is like, if guys aren't, if you're not averaging 30 points a game, you're a scrub and a bum, and that's, and if you're not the best player, if you're a top 5 pick who's not the best player on your team, you're considered a bust and a loser, and you suck. Lonzo is not bad. He's averaging 15 points and like 5 or 6 assists a game.
But he's not. No one is talking about it because that's not. He's not lighting the world on fire.
Yeah, so
I mean, he can be fine. Like, there was no way, unless he was the next, Steph, that he was going to ever live up to those expectations.
And he's got Zion Williamson as a teammate. He obviously was on the Lakers first, and LeBron comes into town, kind of runs him off. Honestly, is pretty much what happened. He's traded he's traded to New Orleans for Anthony Davis. So I wonder how much of Lonzo's, because Lonzo is still super talented, and I believe in his talent and his abilities, but he does seem out of it at times, and this goes all the way back to college. And I'm turning our show into Titus and Tate, so I apologize. But back in college, Charlotte, he played against De'Aaron Fox, who plays for the Sacramento Kings now, and De'Aaron Fox just ate his lunch. This happened in the NCAA tournament. Lonzo played well again. UCLA beat Kentucky in Rupp Arena. They met later in the season in the NCAA tournament, and De'Aaron Fox went absolutely nuts, and Lonzo Ball just like seemed okay with it, and it was very strange to watch because
I remember that.
There was no fire whatsoever, and that became a huge talking point of like, should people draft Lonzo Ball? He looks dead behind the eyes, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And and then that spiraled into like, it's because LeVar Ball, like, he looks like a puppy that's been beaten by his father for, like, people started like taking it to weird places like that. And I don't know how much of it is that, but like maybe it is weird to just see the dichotomy of like how Lonzo Ball approaches the game versus how LaMelo Ball approaches the game. How much fun they seem to be having.
He's like ready to go, and it's so fun to watch, and that's definitely part of it. I mean, I don't know. I feel like. Also, before I forget, did you see the SNL skit where Kenan Thompson was LeVar Ball?
Yeah.
It just, I mean, it's an endless font of content. But that's why I really like that LaMelo is his own content right now because of how he's playing. Like, it's not about the circus right now. It's actually about him. And I find that so refreshing when it comes to the Ball family because I'm so sick of the garbage that goes along with it.
It is pretty perfect that LaMelo ended up playing for Michael Jordan's team after his father talked all that junk about how much better he is than Jordan.
It's unbelievable. Do you think he said anything? Like, do you think Jordan's been like, should we...
I think Jordan gets it. I think Jordan knows what's happening. I don't think he welcomes it or encourages it, but he's also like, I mean, the guy, like, he's just like, the guy's a wrestling promoter, basically.
Or he's like, just biding his time until he can absolutely ruin his life.
He ruins the ball. Like, when LaMelo at the height of... he just trades him away.
I was gonna say he's gonna trade him for someone better, and then the Hornets are gonna win a championship.
He signed Steph Curry in the twilight of his career.
Yes.
And then like forces LaMelo out, and now it's like Steph's team, and Steph becomes like the local hero, and everybody, and everyone forgets about LaMelo.
Pretty good.
That could, I don't know. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but when it does, remember that So that whole part, the what's happening with the Ball family is interesting. You mentioned earlier JJ Watt. I feel like so the theme of what this show is for us is going to be like siblings because we have the Ball family, but also JJ Watt this week, Charlotte announced that he's playing for he wants to play for the Arizona Cardinals, and this is noteworthy because I don't know if people, when I say people, I basically mean like idiots like me that don't actually follow it but just assume things. I would have guessed he was going to play for the Steelers. I would have guessed that he wanted to play with his two brothers. And because he said he wanted to play for a Super Bowl contender. The Steelers, I don't know if they're soon, but whatever. They're the Steelers. They're always going to be good enough, I suppose. And it made sense on paper that J.J. Watt would want to play with his brothers. He decides he wants to play for the Arizona Cardinals, which felt like the most boring, like let the air out of the balloon
that to
announcement
me, though,
possible.
Is
right?
The most JJ Watt announcement. Like JJ Watt he's done so many good things for the community. He's a great teammate by all accounts. I think he's, always a sort of positive guy, but he's also remarkably corny. When he announced that he was going to the Cardinals, he posted a picture of himself in the workout room with the Cardinals shirt on in mid squat or press. I don't lift.
No, you're doing great.
He's like, what is it where you stand with the thing behind your shoulders and you hold it? What is that? Is that a press?
It's icing. That's it was a squat. He was getting ready to squat.
All right, whatever. He was getting swole, and the caption, the tweet is that picture, and then it just says sources, me,
yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god. Dude,
but he did. He took a picture. Corny. Didn't he take a picture of his weight room before as like a teaser?
Yeah.
That day, like that morning, he posted a picture of his weight room, and everyone's like,
it's like, we get it. You work out.
But
he also said that he texted Kyler Murray and he said, "I'm here because I believe in you," which is also a little corny. And also, like, Kyler turned out to be really good last season. I mean, are they Super Bowl contender? That's
It was a very whelming, I'll say, announcement. It was very whelming. Like I was hoping for Bills or Browns or Steelers something, or he goes to Tampa Bay, which would kind of suck in a lot of ways, but also.
But it would give us something to talk about.
I respect it. Like, let's just.
If JJ went to Tampa Bay, we would 100% be doing a show just about that. Or exactly. Even if he went to the Bills, it's like chaotic enough, but he went to the Cardinals. Like, of course he wants to live in Scottsdale. He's almost 32 and he's like, it seems like a nice place. Also got a boatload of money. So
yeah, he did. Yeah, $31 million for 2 years, which is I noticed that there was no change in the Cardinals' odds of winning the Super Bowl.
Wait, really?
Like, I don't know what that says other than. Yeah, that's what I mean. It was just whelming. Like
that's what I was gonna say. Vegas, that means everyone was just whelmed.
Yeah, that means he announced, and they're like, "Oh, okay, well, good luck." All right.
I was so bored by the announcement.
Yeah.
I was,
but that's JJ Watt, right? Like, is there anybody who's better at like trying to pretend it's not about him, but it's about like the frustrating part about JJ Watt is he is an awesome human being, and he's annoying as hell. He's corny as hell. You want to call him out for certain things, but also that there's no way to do it. There's no way to articulate your thoughts without you sounding like a hater and you're a bad person. You know what I mean?
And that would because that's what it would be. That would be true.
Yeah, there's like nothing you could actually kill the guy for, and yet every single person seems to like watch this guy live his life, and you're like, I don't like it.
Yeah,
but he's also a great human being. He's a great human being. Part of it is
because he's better than we are. He's not only is he a professional athlete who's extremely good at his job, but he's done so much for the Houston community. Like, he's such a good guy. Even his video, it was like when he said that he was leaving, he said, you've had my back from day one, well, except for draft night when you booed me, but whatever. He was funny enough about it that I was like, I can't even be upset that you're corny. Like, because then I'm just, no matter what, when it comes to JJ Watt, like, you're the asshole.
Exactly. He is an absolute enigma in that regard, because even, other guys that come to mind are like Tim Tebow, for example, who... he fits that bill too, right? Like, Tim Tebow is a great human being, but also like,
is he still playing baseball?
Yeah, he is. He
absolutely wild.
He also, but the difference between JJ Watt and Tim Tebow is like, Tim Tebow, I could see, like, you could make the argument it's a little too much in your face. I'm not even talking about like the religion part of it. I'm talking about just like his whole aura is like, it's just like I could see if you're a teammate with Tim Tebow, you're like, dude, just shut up.
You're here. You need to be like just a little bit here.
Tone it down a little bit. Where JJ, I feel like if you're teammates with him, you're like, I kind of like it. I kind of liked it. Like, there's part of it is how good they are. Like, it's easier to listen to JJ Watt when he's, one of the best defenders
He'll
we've
also
ever seen
just
in football.
absolutely destroy you if he doesn't.
LeBron's another one. LeBron, yeah, that's true.
Not that he would. The thought of JJ Watt like beating up a teammate is not. I don't know why I just said that, but it's funny a little bit.
I mean, yeah. Maybe that's why he didn't go to the Steelers, because he didn't want to like have to fight
He'd have to give his brothers swirlies, wedgies, stick them in lockers.
Those are the only teammates he would ever fight and get put in that position. LeBron's another guy that comes to mind of like a guy that is, you want to rip him apart for, but it's a little easier with LeBron too, because he's pretty clearly up his own ass in a lot of ways.
He's trolling too. I think sometimes he's trolling, like the cigar picture where he's like, "Can't believe this is my life," in the pool when he didn't make the playoffs, and then what was it? He like Taco Tuesday, where you're just like, "Oh, come on, man!" He tweets Taco. Does he still do that? Does he still?
Yeah, probably.
You're just like
LeBron. Yeah,
it
LeBron
seems like he's trolling a little bit. I'm gonna be honest.
LeBron fits the same thing where like this guy's, it's corny, it's weird, but also he started the school, but like there's just something, I don't know. My point is, I hate this about athletes. Like, I hate this. Let me hate you. Let me hate you without feeling like a bad person, is what I would say.
No,
JJ Watt.
I mean, like, to do that, just get a Twitter handle that's like mom's basement 6969 and have 13 followers and then go for it, I think is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
There's a formula for this, Mark. You can do, if you really care enough, if you want this enough, you can hate without feeling bad about it.
I had this question about JJ Watt for you. So he's going to wear number 99 for the Cardinals. Marshall Goldberg was the guy who played for the Cardinals back in the day. Has since passed away. I think he died in the mid 2000s. His daughter, so he wore number 99 for the Cardinals. It was retired. His daughter gave JJ Watt permission to unretire the number and wear number 99.
She did.
And it's a story that people are sharing this week, I guess, and like people are like, wow, how cool that the daughter stepped up. And do you your thoughts? Because I have thoughts.
I knew that's where we were going with it.
I'll just say,
can I guess your thoughts? Can I guess your thoughts
guess
instead of giving mine? I think you think that this is not as commendable or as selfless an act as everybody is making it out to be.
I think you're right, Charlotte.
Is that what you think?
I think if I'm the father, I'm like, well, now hang on a second.
Yes, I knew that.
The father's up in heaven, like looking down, like, what the hell? What?
I nailed that.
How often do you think this daughter and Marshall Goldberg and his daughter talked about, hey, when I'm gone, if a free agent,
if this huge dude out of Texas shows up and asks if he can have my number, I mean,
be sure to give it to him.
What maybe to her this is a way to make people talk about her dad.
Okay, all right, I like that.
Because I don't think anyone would be talking about Mr. Goldberg if JJ hadn't showed up and requested the jersey. Did he ask for it? I can't remember. He asked for it, or she just was like, "Here, you can have it." I
assume he asked for it. I don't know.
That's also an awkward thing. Like, I would rather. There's so many things I would rather ask someone than be like, "Hey, can I have your dead dad's jersey number?" Think about that. How do you phrase that? Like, that's awful.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I don't think I would have the cojones to go up to someone and be like, "Listen, I know your dad passed away, and I know that he was great, and I know that his number was retired, but can I wear it?" That's kind of a wild conversation.
It's wild, and I think this looks. Listen, this is just me. Again, this is me being a hater. This is what I hate about JJ Watt, is that like anytime the rational part of your brain kicks in and you realize I'm just being a hater and I'm a moron, and this is. But all I want to think is like,
at the same time, though, there's that little devil, the devil on your shoulder being like,
at the same time,
weird.
Right? My gut instinct is like, JJ, just wear 98. I don't know, like, why do you have to wear number 99? Why is it so Why are you so special that we have to unretire this number for you?
That's my hot take about the whole thing. Is that 99 is a bad number, so why would you want that anyway?
Wow. Hey, do you want to talk more about hockey? Because 99 is retired in the entire NHL. Did you know this? Wayne Gretzky's number. No one can wear 99.
I also did not know that Wayne Gretzky was 99. I'm going to be honest.
He was so good, Charlotte, that they retired the number in the entire league. They said no one can wear it.
That's pretty cool.
The entire league.
I mean, that's how you know you made it, right? Like, your wife might reject you on a kiss cam, but you definitely have your jersey retired.
Well, that's
I didn't know he was 99.
The $1 billion question is, if J.J. Watt plays hockey, will the NHL unretire 99 for him?
You know what he's going to do when he's like 36? He will have been out of the league for a year or two, and he's going to be like, I think I can skate. And he's going to get back into it.
And he's going to be like, I talked to Wayne Gretzky's daughter, rest in peace, Wayne. And she said it was okay. And Wayne's like, I'm not dead, dude. What the hell? No. And he's like, yeah, Wayne, you know, tragically not with us anymore. But his daughter gave me the okay.
And so, Wayne's like tweeted, do you remember when someone tweeted that Sheryl Crow was rolling over in her grave and she quote tweeted and said, I'm not dead? That was like, that's what's going to happen, except it's going to be Wayne Gretzky and JJ Watt. This is wild fanfic that we're writing right now, by the way. We should revisit this.
This is getting very weird.
But yeah, the reason we brought both of these guys up is because obviously, you know, brothers. And first of all, I just learned today that JJ's name is Justin James. Fun fact. And then he's got TJ, and there's JJ, TJ, and Derek, which hilarious that they didn't make him DJ.
If you're Derek, you gotta go DJ.
Yeah. Well, he didn't. Maybe he was rebelling, but they also, but not only do these guys all have brothers, they have brands. The Ball family has Big Baller brand. JJ Watt has a deal with Reebok with a JJ logo.
The JJ logo that's like,
yeah, exactly. It's like two J's next. It looks like an A a little. It's a bad logo. Which like shoes? Have you seen what his shoes look like?
Those are bad.
Picture of the shoes. Have you seen what his shoes look like?
Those are bad shoes, JJ.
They're terrible shoes. That logo is, and I'm not trying to be a hater because I wanted to like them. I really did. But then you've got Big Baller brand, which is 3 B's. You know, much like 2 J's. So they're just, you know, there's a lot going on here. But Mark, the rabbit hole that I went down this week was the Big Baller brand website. Oh, no. Have you visited this brand's website recently?
I've not.
Okay. So first of all, their About Us is absolutely riddled with grammatical mistakes. Like you can't really read it. Okay. Can I just raise this to you? Read this to you. Okay. So, but Big Baller brand was officially launched in 2016 by LeVar and Tina Ball in Chino Hills, California. Having raised 3 athletic sons that were drawn to basketball, they realized early on that they had an opportunity to create a path to the NBA unlike any other family in American sports history. In 2013, they used unconventional wisdom and formed one travel basketball team featuring all 3 sons instead of joining up with larger established programs. So you're reading this and you're like, that's a little weird, but like, okay, let's see where they're going with it. By design, their team roster did not attract players from surrounding towns or states. Ironically, they chose to train and coach kids from the neighborhoods surrounding Chino Hills. Tina and LeVar, knew early on for their youngest son to compete with the older boys, they had to develop a different style of basketball that played to the unique strengths of each of their sons. That style of play, which initially drew scrutiny from critics, required not only skill, but incredible stamina and conditioning, which the Balls all had. Balls is spelled BLL''S. I mean, this goes on. This is like...
They love commas.
They love commas. And then there are more phrases like during this epic season of perfection, Tina and LeVar started wearing Big Baller brand t-shirts to support their sons. Okay. I'm like, this is an insane About page. Did no one proofread this? Did they not run this by a single? Did LeVar just put this up? So then when you go to the Big Baller brand's main page here, you're like, oh, yes, he definitely did, because the images are like selfies. I'm just pulling this up here. It's bigballerbrandinc.com. The pictures of LeVar on the homepage, it's like it's a selfie. That's from the Big Baller brand website. That's LeVar in the back of a car wearing I think they call it their gorilla suit. It's Go Gorilla suit. And then there are pictures of him and his buddies, like 3 of his pals. They're just like old guys on the cover on this website's homepage. And then you go a little bit, you delve into the products. Not only do they have the typical, you know, BBB in pink to make sure that it's clear, you know, that's for the women. They have a racing.
How can I be misogynistic if I have a pink product that you can buy?
Exactly. You can't. You can't. It's a get out of jail free card. But they also have a motorcycle jacket and motorcycle gloves for Big Baller Brand Racing. This jacket is $850 and the gloves are $350.
It's genius.
Driving glove, Big Baller Brand
so
driving glove. I mean, is that the greatest thing you've ever seen? Like, I absolutely lost it.
It's so genius that you put an outrageous price tag on stuff, and if people buy it, you're like, all right. And there's no way they have inventory, right? Like they have they're sitting on zero inventory.
They've never sold
yes. An order comes in like, all right, I guess. And then they go buy something and stitch Big Baller Brand on it.
Seriously, they go to Walmart and they're like, we got to get a sweatshirt, and then someone slaps a patch on it and irons it on.
I saw the Big Baller Brand. This is a fun fact. The Better Business Bureau has given Big Baller Brand an F grade. They've had an F grade for a while.
The Better Business Bureau,
and I wonder
the original 3 Bs.
That's what I was gonna say. Do you think it's actually do they deserve the F grade, or is the Better Business Bureau just jealous that Big Baller Brand is taking the 3 Bs from them?
Encroaching. So yeah, I just love that there's these. My favorite picture is of LeVar and 2 of his buddies in a convertible, all wearing the same hoodie.
Here's my question.
He just put on his website, because if you have a website, you can do that.
Here's my question to our listeners for Monday's show when we do the mailbag. People can write in, and I want to know what the answer to this question is. Who is the best professional athlete today that does not have a logo or a brand or anything of the sort?
There it is. Do you see that picture?
Oh yeah, so yeah.
Did you see?
And the Rolls Royce, they have their hoodies on.
They're just like cruising around.
Like a gorilla suit.
Yeah, it's the wildest thing I've ever seen. Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Who is the best professional athlete that does not have a logo? JJ Watt has a logo. He's good though, so that makes sense. But like, you start paying attention to, like, especially in the NBA, Michael Jordan ruined everything. Everyone saw Michael Jordan made $10 trillion and had the dopest logo, and people are stabbing each other trying to get his shoes, and they're like, oh, well, I made an all-star team once, so I'm sure people would do that for me. It's
right.
Like, no, dude. No. Well, stop it. Stop it.
Mark, I looked into this because I was curious. I was like, I felt like Tim Duncan would be a guy who didn't have a brand. Yeah. But he had the Nike All-Pro foam style.
Did he have like a signature shoe?
Well, he had a shoe that he and David Robinson would both wear, and it looked like a space shoe, and Nike was going to bring it back recently. So it might not necessarily have been his signature shoe, but it became so associated with him that I don't think it's fair to say he didn't have a brand. You know what I mean?
Did he have a logo, I guess? That's because a lot of these guys will have...
I feel like Tim Duncan probably didn't, but I mean his oversized
Tim Duncan might be the answer, but he's not active anymore. So Tim Duncan,
yeah,
might
exactly.
be,
so
like if he was playing today, would he have, different era? If he's playing today, someone's getting their hands on him, and they're like, Tim, you got to have a logo, and he's like, huh? And then all these logos, Charlotte, all these logos are just the guy's initials, just like somehow cleverly, and I use cleverly with very heavy air quotes. Like JJ, oh my God! It's a J, it's 2 J's and a W. Did you not?
And it makes a different shape. Oh wait, I didn't get that. I'm gonna be honest. That it was also
get that it was a W. Oh.
I have lost all privileges of making fun of logos until the end of time. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. Why am I such an idiot? Like, sometimes I think I'm a fairly smart person, and then there are moments where I'm like, how do you put your shoes on in the morning? Like, how,
my biggest, I'll make you feel better. A couple years ago, this is stuck with me, and it'll stick with me for the rest of my life. It hit me as to why polar bears are called polar bears, and that, because I thought polar bears, I would have assumed polar bears are like all over, like Alaska, and they are in Alaska.
Live on the
poles. Yeah. The poles, yeah. But I would have assumed that like every I would have assumed you could go to like Winnipeg, Canada, and like just like there could be polar bears there.
You
didn't know that?
I never thought about that my entire life. the show's over. I have to leave.
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh
no! Wow.
Okay, well,
All right, well there you go. We're learning
there
things.
it is.
Polar bears, yeah.
Okay, so today I learned that they're called polar bears.
They only exist in the poles. They're not in just. They're not. There aren't. You will not find polar bears in the south of France.
Well, I watched Lost, and let me tell you,
that's true.
I beg to differ, and I learned about the J.J. Watt logo. Wow. Okay. Well, where were we, Mark?
I got this for you. Let's do a hard pivot because I have a game for you as well involving LeVar Ball.
Okay, wait. Can I just say one more thing about the athletes who have brands? This is I think Gardner Minshew has merch. So like if Gardner Minshew is merch, you know.
I don't knock the hustle. I just think like I want to figure out who is the most talented. We got the TB12 method with Tom Brady.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys deserve it because like they're great, but at the same time like Michael Jordan set the standard. Everyone's been trying to catch him. LeBron's shoes are horrible. LeBron deserves his own shoe line. He deserves his own brand, but like not even close to Jordan brand.
He didn't do it the way he should have done it, which is that they looked cooler. IMO.
Yeah, you should make your shoes cooler, LeBron.
Have you tried that? You had one job to make cool shoes.
But yeah, it's wild how many guys just like have logos or will put out like a statement on their social media if they're like in free agency and they're like, I'm not going to re-sign here. And then they have like a little letter, and at the bottom of the letter is like some logo that no one's ever seen before. It's like, is that your logo? You have a logo now? Okay.
Like, cool. Mark, should we design logos for ourselves? Hey, if any of the people are good at Photoshop and want to design us logos, we'll share those on the internet.
Just you just get yours should just be the CW's logo.
Oh come on. I mean,
that's what pro athletes do. They would just take that and just kind of like
all right, well then that's easy.
Find the one friend that knows Photoshop and like just kind of.
I don't even have a middle name, so anyway.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You have no middle name?
Sure don't.
We have to get you a middle name, Charlotte.
Oh, I've over the years, trust me, I've rotated.
We have to get. Can we do this for content? Can we have people vote on your middle name?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll make. Hey, for my birthday, we'll make a show about give Charlotte a middle name, and we'll tie it into sports.
Write in and give Charlotte a middle name. All right, let's get into it. Let's end the show as we typically do with this. We talked a lot about brothers today, siblings in sports. So we figured let's put a cap on the show with our list of our favorite siblings in sports history. There are a lot to choose from, Charlotte. We can only pick 5 to put on our list. I'll let you go first. Who's your number 5 pair of siblings?
My number 5 pair of siblings, Mark. This is to prove that I know who these people are. Is Brooke and Robin Lopez, because they're twins,
right?
And both play basketball, and Robin Lopez so is the one who did the bits with the mascots.
Right. I put you onto this, right?
Yes, you've referenced this at least 3 times over the course of the show, and every time I say, who's Robin Lopez? And so I just wanted to put this on the list to prove that I now have internalized who Robin Lopez is.
Have you watched any of it? Have you seen? Are you a Robin Lopez fan? Are you a fan of the antics?
Yes.
We'll say, yeah.
I've watched him mess around with mascots, and I think it's absolutely delightful, and that's why they are number 5 on my list.
That's a good answer. They were very good. They played at Stanford. They were twins. That was like the last. Stanford was supposed to be good this year, by the way, and they've had a lot of problems with like first of all, they couldn't even play or practice at their home arena this year
because of the
COVID protocols,
the rules,
and then and then like all summer there were fires, and it's been a nightmare for Stanford this year. But I was gonna say that this year they were supposed to be pretty good. I don't know if they're gonna make the tournament. And the last time Stanford was like really good was when the Lopez brothers were there. So like this was supposed to be a time when Stanford gets good. Everyone talks about the Lopez brothers again. They're like, oh yeah, Stanford's good. Remember when the Lopez brothers were there? And
yeah. Well, they probably don't have any twins. That's probably the problem.
That might be the problem.
Yeah, if you have 2 twins, you know that you've got at least 2 tall guys on your basketball team. As I always say.
If the twins are tall.
If they play basketball, they're twins, they're going to be tall.
Number 5 on my list, also basketball guys. So I'll just start by saying my list is not I don't love my list because I kind of overthought it. I was putting this together at like midnight last night, and I was in a little bit of a stupor. I was in like a fever dream trying to like overthink things, and then it hit me, and I had to put these guys on the list, and this is gonna look horrible on a graphic. This is gonna look so bad, and I'm aware of that. So
okay.
I apologize.
Maybe we just leave off number 5 on your.
Yeah, but I'm gonna talk about him anyway. It is the Plumlees from Duke, Miles Mason and Marshall Plumlee. And the reason they're one of my favorites because like as I was putting this list together last night in the middle of the night, I as I said, I was just in a weird headspace, couple Coors Lights in, and it hit me, Charlotte, that this is insane and was taken for granted that 3 brothers were on the exact same Duke basketball team in 2012. They were all on the same team playing at Duke. They were all good enough to play at Duke. They all eventually played in the NBA.
Has that ever happened before or since? 3 brothers on one team.
3. They're not. None of them are twins either.
And not just one team, like a good ass team.
That team ended up losing to CJ McCollum in the first round. They got upset by 15.
Yeah, but it's Duke. It's Duke. A name brand. It's not like they played at.
And none of them were like Marshall is the youngest and he was the worst, but he still played in the NBA. So it wasn't like any of these guys were charity cases where it was like we'll give you a scholarship just to get your brother. Even though that sort of felt like the way, like it felt like they did that with Miles to get Mason, but anyway, they all ended up being very good. They were all good enough to get minutes at Duke, be great players at Duke. They all won national championships, Charlotte.
That's what? I didn't know.
It's pretty crazy, and I think, and the other reason I put them on my list is because they just encapsulate like there is an era of that is an era of basketball. You could just say like the Plumlee era of Duke basketball.
Yes,
everyone knows if you watch college basketball, this is a marker in time. Is like yes, I remember that Plumlee era of Duke basketball. So they're not my favorite in the sense that like I cheered for these guys, but they were my favorite in that like
you gotta respect them.
You gotta respect it. You gotta respect. Yeah. Also, fun fact. Their mom and my mom played together at Purdue.
No way.
On the Purdue basketball team. So
oh my gosh.
Too. Yeah. So shout out
to cool. Have they kept in touch?
Yeah. My mom they used to be roommates. Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
That's amazing. Shout out to the Plumlees.
I'm like Forrest Gump of basketball, Charlotte. Like,
I know.
Find my way into like you name a guy in basketball. I'm like, yeah, I know him. Yeah, my cousin used to mow his lawn or something.
Right.
Wow.
He only mowed it at sundown because we're the tightest.
So that's my pick for number 5, which is gonna look horrible on a graphic, and I'm gonna get killed for it. But whatever.
You know
Shout out to the Plumlee family.
Shout out Plumlee. Okay, my number 3. I mean 4. Right? That's what we're on. Mm-hmm. I numbered these wrong, so they're all numbered different things here. That's not the correct number. My list is Markeith Morris and Marcus Morris Sr. They are twins. And I respect that Marcus Morris has adopted the senior on his jersey. I assume he has a son who is a junior. Would be kind of a baller move to just put the senior on anyway, because it's true. I could be Charlotte Wilder Sr. I'm the first one, so there you go. I also think that Markeith's daughter was absolutely incredible at the Lakers ring ceremony, and that made me a big Markeith Morris fan, and so I am just a fan of these twins.
The thing about these guys more so than the Lopez is even like one thing that happens with twins all the time in basketball, especially, is they must be on the same team. They dress the same, they look the same, they act the same. The Lopez is like Robin grew his hair out, Brooke kind of kept it shorter, so they at least like they, even though they always played on the same, they did the twin thing, but they also tried to have their own identities.
There was
a little bit.
Differentiator.
Markeith and Marcus Morris are not trying at all. They're trying they're trying to just morph into one person.
They both play for LA teams.
Their embryo in the womb split into twins. That's how twins work, right? And they've spent their entire existence trying to undo that and become one entity again.
Morph back together.
Yeah. They are very much that set of twins that just like which is that's great. Like you got like a best friend for life, right? Like it's.
I always wondered if I had a twin. I think I'd be worse, just as a person. I mean, also 2 of me sounds absolutely exhausting.
Isn't it weird that like no twins, or there's never like one that's fat and the other one's not, or like one that's, I mean, I guess it makes sense. They have the exact same. Who? Name 4 sets of twins.
I know a set of twins from. I know someone who knows a set of twins where one was very small and one was very big.
All right, well, you just proved my point with that. Great evidence you brought to the table there, Charlotte. I mean, my God.
I know someone who grew up with someone who were twins, and there were 2 of them, and that's my evidence.
When I was in high school, as an aside, we had a ton of twins in our height. Like, we had probably like 10 sets of twins. The weirdest thing. I don't know what was in the water.
You know, that's too bad, because I feel like with twins, something that you say, you know, growing up in a town, you're like, oh, well, are the twins coming? You know, like the twins end up being the name of 2 people. Like, we had twins, and it was Julia and Alexander, and we were like, okay, well, are the twins coming?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You know,
we had a few
no one
sets
didn't
of triplets.
know who you were talking about. What?
Gordon Hayward has a twin sister. Do you know that?
What?
Yeah. I don't know what was in the water in Brownsburg.
What was going on?
We had so many twins and so many. By the way, when you said the twins were coming, never mind.
Don't.
I'm not gonna. You know where I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah, I do.
Shout out to. All right.
No. Stop. Keep going. Who's your number 4? Who's your number 4 list?
Number 4 on my list. We've stuck with just basketball so far. I'm going with Cheryl and Reggie Miller.
Nice.
The reason why is because I hate Reggie Miller. I have always not. I grew up in Indiana, and it was very frustrating to have Reggie Miller be the face of professional basketball in my home city, because he was a flopper. He was a whiner.
Yep.
He was not good at basketball. He was not as good as everyone thought he was, and it drove me insane. The man made 1 NBA Finals in his entire career, Charlotte. He made 5 All-Star teams, which is pretty good, but it's not like he was a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame, even though if you look at his stats, he didn't even average – he averaged like 20 points a game, like a handful of seasons he was even in the league. He shot under 40% from the three-point line. He didn't rebound. He didn't assist guys.
So it didn't feel fair to you.
He sucked at defense. Like, the whole reason Reggie Miller got famous is because he played for one team his whole career. The Pacers were always like kind of good, but he had great rivalries with Spike Lee and the Knicks.
Yep.
And he was a good foil for Michael Jordan, but he was always like a jobber. He was just like, I will be good enough to where when Michael Jordan eliminates me, people are like, damn, Jordan did it again. Yeah. And that was his career. And I was smart enough when I was growing up. I was like, this guy is not that good. I don't understand it.
You saw it.
Yeah. With that, I loved that Cheryl Miller was his sister, and Cheryl Miller was so much obviously better than Reggie. And every time they talk about Cheryl and Reggie, Cheryl just got, you know, all the accolades, all the, you know, the famous story that Cheryl scored 105 the same night Reggie scored like 39 in a high school game. And he comes home and he's like, I scored 39. And Cheryl's like, sit down and listen to what I did tonight. The fact that Cheryl is maybe the best women's basketball player of all time, was very seriously being asked to play men's basketball. She was so good that like there were professional men's leagues that were trying to get her to play. She won multiple national titles, multiple players of the year, gold medals, you name it. Cheryl Miller did it. And she is unequivocally much better than her brother. And so that's why I love that.
You a lot of joy.
And that brought me a lot of joy. So I love growing up hearing stories about Cheryl Miller kicking Reggie Miller's ass, because I was like, yes, thank you, somebody. And she's a better broadcaster too, while we're at it.
Yeah,
like
she's good.
She's better at everything than Reggie. It's great.
That must kill him, or not, or he's accepted it. That's a great one, Mark. I love that one. My number 3 is not basketball. It's Jason and Devin McCourty.
This is a good one. Twins. I almost put this on my list. This is a good one.
And they play for the Pats, so duh. They are from New Jersey, so, you know, they've got that going for them. But I just love that they played for most of their career not being on the same team. And then they end up on the same team. And they have been so fun about it. They are so delightful with the media and actually say stuff, which for the Patriots is absolutely wild. And they're just very good. And I think that I had to put someone from one of my teams on here because this is near and dear to my heart.
First set of brothers to start in a Super Bowl together and win a Super Bowl together.
Yeah.
Also, the real reason I almost put them on my list is because they share a Twitter account, and I find that to be the funniest thing.
Wait, do they really?
Yeah. Yes.
I did not know that.
Account. Yes.
Oh,
Devin and Jason
so
McCourty.
I would so much. See, as an only child, I don't have a sibling to share a Twitter account with, but if I did, I would, because that's incredible. You can mess with people
hilarious.
So much.
Yeah,
they'll never know which one of you is talking.
I mean, as we were talking earlier, the Twins wanting to be one entity thing, like they literally are like online. We're going to be one entity.
Yeah,
there
are also some really amazing pictures of the McCourty Twins after winning Super Bowls together, or a Super Bowl. I guess it was the 2018 one, but they're standing at the locker. They're one of my favorites. They're both sort of looking. It looks like someone had just called their name. And they turn around and look, and it's sort of taken from up top, but there's confetti everywhere, and they just look so unfazed by the fact that they have just won a championship together. And it also makes it so much easier for their parents. Think about it, because like if you've got 2 kids in the NFL, you've got to figure out how to go to each of their games. You got to make sure it's fair.
Yeah, you
got to balance it all out. This way, go to one game. Your 2 kids, they look exactly the same. You always know that they're your kids. And there you go.
We should have done a power rankings of twins, most likely to switch identities just as a goof, like when you're in high school, like go to each other's
McCourty Twins.
McCourty Twins would 100%.
Also, there's a theme with my list. If you're,
I'm picking up on it. I'm seeing where you're going.
Catching on.
Number 3 on my list. Some would say they're not brothers at all. Those people would be wrong, because their moniker is literally the Bash Brothers. I am talking about Mark McGwire and Jose Canseco.
Oh, I knew there was going to be. I was like, I tried to think of a twist, so I knew you were going to think of a twist.
Canseco won Rookie of the Year in 1986. Mark McGwire wins it in 1987. They go on to win 3 pennants together, smash a ton of home runs. They win the 89 World Series. They do an ungodly amount of steroids. They both become like the face of the steroid era for different reasons. Canseco, because he narked on everybody and wrote a book, and everyone killed him for it. And then he was like, "Why are you booing me? I'm right." And then he kind of vindicated.
Like compelling argument.
Yeah, like he's kind of vindicated, but also he's Jose Canseco, so it's like
I know.
Shit.
I know.
I hate it.
Did you know he's a twin?
Yeah, I was gonna say that the funniest part about it is that Jose Canseco's actual brother was on the A's.
Ozzy, right?
Ozzy Canseco was on the 1990 A's for a little while with McGwire, but I'm not counting them. It's McGwire and Canseco.
It's McGwire and Canseco.
Also, McGwire, the year he hit 70 home runs, they found steroids in his locker, but they weren't illegal per MLB's rules or whatever. But they were like they were like banned in the Olympics and stuff. And the year he was smashing all the home runs, they found in his locker, and he like shrugged his shoulders. He's like, "Of course I do it. Everyone's doing it." And then they were like, "Wait a second." But they weren't illegal. So he wasn't wrong, but at the same time, it was like, "Uh-oh."
I admire that kind of honesty, though. On some level, because you're like, "Oh no, I'm not going to be the only one who gets killed. I'm not falling on this steroid sword."
Yeah, and then. Remember when they both also testified to Congress, which was one of my favorite. Somebody please direct me to like a podcast or somebody that like did like a long form thing on all these players testifying to Congress, because I am so intrigued by it. Because I remember Rafael Palmeiro pointing his finger. He's like reading a statement. He's like, "I have never in my life." Oh, and then he gets to the part where it's like, "Point your finger at Congress and get mad." And he's like, "That's right. I have never in my life." And it's so unnatural.
God. Maybe we should do a deep dive on that.
We should.
In baseball season, we should do like a recap of the time that they testified before Congress.
And McGuire's in there. Roger Clemens, Kurt Schilling.
I remember they looked so out of place in their suits. I remember seeing these guys in suits being like, these are men who should never wear suits or should get ones that fit better, because they were wild outfits.
Sammy Sosa forgot English every time he got in front of Congress. Like the guy like was doing interviews left and right, as he's the most affable guy in Chicago other than Michael Jordan. And he's just like super, he's like, "Hey, it's me, Sammy." And he's like waving at everyone. He's like, "We love you, Sammy." He's like, "I love you guys too." And then he gets in front of a microphone in Congress and they're asking him stuff. He's like, "No hablo inglés." No, like, what?
It was perfect. Absolutely
it's
perfect.
So good.
Wow, the Bash Brothers. The Bash Brothers is a good. I should have put
Number
like the Super Mario Brothers on here. They are athletes if you think about it. But no, my number 2 is Jocelyn Lemieux and Monique Lemieux. And they are, I'm sticking with hockey. They are they were two of the stars of the USA women's team. They retired this month. Jocelyn's name is now Jocelyn Lemereau Davidson, and Monique is Monique Lemereau Mirando, but they're known as the Lemereau twins. They have 4 brothers, so that's a lot of kids. And they grew up playing on the Pee Wee boys team, which I love. And then to win gold, Jocelyn scored the winning goal for Team USA after Monique had tied it up. So I just think that they are
these Mario Lemieux's kids?
No, it's Lamoureux.
Lamoureux.
Or Lamoureux. I can't pronounce. It's French. It's Lamoureux, which is so many vowels.
They're American?
They're from North Dakota.
Oh.
Or they might be vaguely Canadian. They said something at one point about being overlooked by the Canadian national team. Yeah.
Well, they're probably. I'm assuming they have French
dual citizenship, maybe. I tried to look it up and I couldn't find anything about it. But they also just wrote a book together, which is sort of like the analog version of having a Twitter account with your sibling. You write a book with them. And Monique once got into a fight when they were 2018 Olympics, and they were just a delight. So they are my number 2 twins, because I turned this into a twin list.
Turned this into a twin list.
I needed to narrow it down.
Number 1 isn't the Minnesota.
I needed to narrow it down.
Number 1 isn't the Minnesota Twins. You've made a huge mistake.
Damn it. Well, now it is. No, my number 1 is incredible. You're gonna love it.
All right, my number 2 on my list. I'll make it quick. Also, I'm sticking to baseball. I did 2 basketball, Bash Brothers, and now I'm gonna do another baseball one. Joe and Phil Necro, who you might not know, Charlotte. These are old dudes. So Phil Necro just passed away in December. Rest in peace. Hall of Famer. Him and Joe were brothers who threw knuckleballs forever. Phil retired when he was 48. Joe retired when he was 44. Phil was the better one. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's the guy he's like the father of the knuckleball, basically. But
that's how people describe my dad.
Joe made an all-star team though. In 1979, they both Joe was pitching for the Astros, Phil was pitching for the Braves. They both shared the lead for wins in the National League. So the National League win leaders were brothers. They both made the all-star team. And the reason I have them so high on my list is because the idea of a knuckleball inspires me. I've had this dream. We might do it at Fox. I'm gonna pitch it when the world's not closed.
Okay.
I'm going to pitch this to Fox that I want to try to make a professional baseball roster as a knuckleballer. I want to pick it up from scratch.
Can you throw a knuckleball?
No, that's the point. I want to learn how to throw a knuckleball. I could throw. I mean, I'm athletic. Like I got good hand-eye coordination, but I don't know how to do it. So that's what let's make a documentary.
Okay. All right.
When I turn 35, I'm going to learn how to throw a knuckleball, and I'm going to try to make like a semi-pro team. And
okay, I'm here for it. Look, I'm sorry, I got the laughter out of my system. I will do this, but I have to be the first woman to be a designated hitter in a men's minor league system.
What about you? I got an idea. You can get in on this. You can be my catcher, because like knuckleballs are impossible to catch, and catchers hate it. So I could be like, I can only throw if Charlotte's the catcher.
I played softball. I actually can catch a ball, so that sounds great.
So you can be my special catcher. I'm like, if you're gonna sign me, you have to sign her. And then they're like, okay, well, we're definitely not signing you then.
You like think how good it'll look to sign a woman to your professional
and then they're like, all right, well,
team. And then
and then they sign you and not me. And I'm banging on the doors like, what? That's not how it's supposed to work.
And then I throw the knuckleball, and then it's my story, and then the doc is about me, and I masterminded the whole thing. Yeah, all right. Well, let's pitch that.
Anyway, shout out to the Necro brothers. Number 2 on my list.
Okay, so, I love that I learned something about you through that. The number one siblings on my list are let me say their names correctly. Rona and Rhoda Wertel. Now, Mark, you might not know who these people are, but Rhonda and Rona Wertel are identical twins. Were identical twins. One of them passed away in January. But they were Canadian women skiing pioneers and champions of the 1940s and 1950s. Their nickname was the Flying Twins. And they were born in 1922 in the province of Quebec. Can you tell I'm reading their Wikipedia page? But they were Canada's first official women's Olympic alpine ski team, and they competed in Canada and the U.S. from 1942 to 1948, representing the Penguin Ski Club, whatever the hell that is. But, you know, when the... I can't keep reading the Wikipedia
Charlotte, what is happening?
These are...
What... I hope someone writes in an email. Like, if I was listening to this show, I'd write an email. I'd be like, listen, I was going to share my top 5, but as it turns out, Charlotte and I had the exact same top 5.
What is happening? I'm going to need that clip. Just like, that's the story of my life, where I'm like, I don't know, but the train has left the station and I'm on it. Yeah, the Flying Twins, the Wurtel Twins, the Canadian.
In the 50s.
The Canadian, Flying Twins.
These women in the 50s slapped some skis to their... When was skiing not the most dangerous thing? Like, when did skiing go from, like... I mean, it's still obviously very dangerous, but, like, what year ddid it go from you have to be out of your mind to, like, it's actually kind of eloquent and classy now?
I think when they invented the helmet.
Yeah, probably. Because wouldn't you assume that, like, in the turn of the
I think it's always been
century,
bougie, though.
You think so?
Yeah, I do. I think it's always been bougie. There are these old black and white movies of people skiing, looking all like in their furs, and it was always about après ski anyway. You know, that was, and then you know, now
I'm just picturing like in the early 1900s, just guys like strapping boards to their feet,
2x4s.
Yeah, hold my beer.
I mean, that's probably how it started.
And that's how it started. And like, if you were a skier, you were just out of your mind. It was just Evel Knievel.
Yeah, you were an insane person to do what they were doing. Yeah. Well, maybe you're right, but
that's what maybe these women were. That
Rhoda and Rhoda were pioneers. Mark is all. I'll say the Flying Twins.
All right, I'll wrap it up. Number 1 on my list, the Klitschko brothers, Vladimir and Vitaly, the heavyweight titans.
So good.
These guys are unbelievable. They held every major heavyweight title there is to hold in boxing. They held it forever. They were dominant. Vitaly is better, apparently. So this is weird. What makes him interesting is Vitaly is the better boxer in that, first of all, he's 5 years older, but he lost 2 fights in his entire career. One was to a guy named Chris Bird, an American, where he was kicking his ass. He won 8 out of the 9 rounds in the fight. But he tore his rotator cuff, so he just threw in the towel, and he's like, I'm out. And then you look at the scorecards, and he would have won. Mm-hmm. The second one, he lost to Lennox Lewis, where Lewis busted his eye open, and they couldn't stop the bleeding. But Vitaly, at the time the fight was stopped, every single judge had Klitschko winning the fight. So Klitschko was like, all right, whatever, you got me, let's do a rematch. And then Lennox Lewis retired, so they never did do a rematch. But
he accepted that he lost.
Yeah. I mean, he's like, you beat me, but like, I mean,
but we'll do it again. And Lennox is like,
because modern medicine can, like, if I wanted to stitch my eye, like he would have kept fighting. He didn't lose in a way you think of a boxer losing, is what I would say.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. It wasn't his fault necessarily. His body didn't cooperate.
And the other note about Vitaly that is mind blowing to think about is that this man was never knocked down in his entire professional career. Never knocked down, Charlotte.
Not even knocked out. Knocked down.
No, I'm not talking knocked out. I'm talking knocked down. There was never a moment where he stumbled and fell over and then got back up and was like, I'm good. Never fell down once. And he knocked out, he won 45 fights and 41 of them were knockouts.
What? What? So he retired?
Yeah, he's done. He's the mayor of Kiev in Ukraine. I swear to God. Yeah,
how did you just casually drop that?
He's the mayor.
Yeah, he's the mayor.
Meanwhile, his brother, so that's Vitaly. His brother Vladimir is probably more famous.
Was he the one who dated Hayden Panettiere?
Yeah. You want to talk about weird athlete couples?
You want to talk about where my sports knowledge comes from?
Yeah.
It's who they dated in 2006.
Yeah. There you go. Well, that's probably why he's more famous. Vladimir, he was the guy that like he had the title for like he had titles. He has all these records for like longest reign and most heavyweight wins, or I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Boxing people, go figure it out for yourself. He also like made a ton of money, so like his pay-per-views always seem to do better than his brothers, even though his brother was the better fighter. So anyway, they're unbelievable.
I wonder what it was, if it was like that fame factor.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. He was younger, so like people probably like his brother probably carved the way and built a name.
Yeah.
And then he came up, and then everyone's like, "Oh, Klitschko's fighting. I want to buy that." Maybe that's what it was. But here's the final note I had on them. Yeah. They never fought each other, Charlotte. They were both absolutely dominant. The entire their careers overlapped. They kicked everyone's ass there is a kick in heavyweight boxing, and they never once fought each other because they promised their mother they would not fight each other when they got into boxing. So they never once fought each other. Yeah.
Oh, I love that's actually a great way to save a relationship.
Yeah.
By the way, like, because you don't want to be the one who loses, and you don't want to be the one who wins, really. I mean, you do want to be the one who wins, but then you have to like deal with it.
Yeah, right.
For the rest of your relationship, and this way it's just cleaner. It's like we were both the best.
And as a guy who has a brother, trust me when I say you never really resolve it. Like if one of you wins, there's always got to be a rematch, and then whoever loses that one wants a rematch, and the rematches go on forever, and you never. No one's ever going to be like, all right, fine, you're better. That's never going to happen.
Right. So it's a good thing that the Klitschkos didn't fight each other, because they would still be fighting to this day.
Today
every other year, there would be a Klitschko match. It would just get sadder and sadder as they got older.
They're 76 years old.
Right. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, I think these are incredible lists. I have to. I'm pretty proud of us. Not good one.
Canadian.
Listen, oh my God. Mark, they are the Flying Twins. How could those not? And she Rhoda, was it Rhoda or Rona who just died? I don't know, but they were 97. That's pretty amazing.
All right, that's the show. Hey, we got a YouTube page, Charlotte.
We do, and we should have mentioned it at the top of the show. Yeah. But when I tweet this out, I will mention it then. Yeah. I promise. Yeah. We got a YouTube page. It's very exciting. We recorded a fun little promo for it, which you can go watch. And we're going to have all of our shows on YouTube. And I just want to say there's one person who has DM'd me, maybe several, not to toot our own horn, who've been like, when are we going to get the full pod on the internet that we can watch and not just listen to? And folks, for the 3 people who asked, today is that day.
Today is that day. The full shows will be on YouTube. You can look at what we're wearing and make fun of us, I guess.
I'm wearing a terrible t-shirt.
Yeah, what are the other?
It's all wrinkled at the top.
Every so often Moses might walk into frame, probably not, but he kind of hangs out when I record these. He's in my office, he's right here right now, but he's
Hi Moses.
He's knocked out, so I don't think he's gonna make an appearance in this show.
But, you start talking and he goes right to sleep.
Yeah,
like everybody else who listens to this podcast.
He's a diehard fan of the show. So yeah, go check out our YouTube page. Go follow us we got all the social media stuff where we're gonna be putting out the lists and other fun stuff, and you know how the internet works. All you guys listening know how it works, and you can go.
And if you don't, we like you even more. So
it's perfect.
If you don't know how the internet works, you're living our dream.
Charlotte, what do you're absolutely right. What are the emails we want? We want your list of siblings that you love. We want Charlotte middle name ideas, I guess. We want what am I
there was another whether there was something else, wasn't there? What did we talk about?
The best
brand logos.
Athletes
and the best athlete who doesn't have a brand.
Who's the best athlete? I need people to figure this out for me. Who's the best athlete? It's got to be current, because we figured that out too. Because like Tim Duncan is a great answer, but
doesn't count.
I think we realized, like, if Tim Duncan was coming up now, he'd probably have a logo. Who's the best guy right now that's under 30? Who's younger than me? We'll put it that way. I'm 33.
You just said that. It's like, who's better than you? He said, who's younger than me?
Well, I was trying to think of a cutoff point. 35 seems too old. 30 seems too young.
No, you're in the sweet spot of aging out.
Yeah, so it's like guys like me that are aging out or younger.
I'm literally just a year behind you, so I was also roasting myself.
All right, that's the show. See you guys Monday. Peace.